Hi everyone, my name is Claire Candy Hoff, and my name is also Angel Ariel, as I had an angelic walk-in experience on January 11th of 2003. Welcome everyone to Walk-in Angel Ariel's Weekly Wisdom for this upcoming week of October 24th through October 30th. And if you're interested, if you want to find out more about walk-ins, you can read more about my remarkable experience in my #1 Amazon International award-winning novel, I Am an Angelic Walk-in, the autobiography of Angel Ariel. Yes, that's me on the cover, which, by the way, that book is the sequel to my other #1 Amazon International bestseller, One True Home, Behind the Veil of Forgetfulness. And yes, that's me with curly hair 20 years ago, right after I walked in. So I would like to welcome back all those to my YouTube channel, and it's lovely to be in your energies again. And for those who are new, let me introduce a little bit about myself. Through my full-time business over the last almost 20 years, which is called Angel Healing House, I am a Reiki master teacher. I've taught hundreds of Reiki practitioners and master teachers around the world. I am an intuitive counselor. I'm a channel, a psychic clairvoyant tarot reader. I do ancestral clearings and past life healings. All of those services are on my website, which is angelhealinghouse.com. And that number here in Santa Monica, California, to contact me at Angel Healing House is 831-277-3716. I'd like to share a beautiful 5-star review for the Audible book, or the audio book of my award-winning novel, One True Home, Behind the Veil of Forgetfulness. And this person writes, a warm hug wrapped up in a book. I'm so incredibly thankful for the opportunity to listen to this book. It's incredibly heartwarming and enlightening. You can feel the love coming through the author as she reads the book. It feels like an amazing angelic embrace. The lovely reminder that we all have one true home. In these times of such trials and tribulations, we need to know we will once again return to pure love. This book is beautifully written, and I couldn't stop listening once I started. Claire Candy Hoff is an absolute version of Walking Sunshine. I highly recommend this book, as well as another one of hers, I Am an Angelic Walk-in, which is also on Audible. I had to buy the actual books as well because I loved it so much, which the books are on Amazon. So grab a blanket and a cup of hot tea, and just allow yourself to sink into the warm hug you will feel as you read this book. Oh, and one last thing, the author also has a radio show on Thursdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Angel Healing House Blog Talk Radio. And that comes from Jay Sharp. Thank you very much for that lovely testimonial and review. But to purchase the award-winning bestsellers in audiobook form, please do go to audible.com. I do the narration. I do also my part, the Angel Ariel part. And my husband and I, we were the executive producers on this audiobook, and we employed amazing professional voiceover actors to breathe life into the other characters in the book. But the books can be found in e-print, e-book form, and also in print on Amazon. But with the upcoming holidays fast approaching, you may want to give them as a gift, and you may want to have them autographed by myself. If that is the case, they must be ordered through angelhealinghouse.com. And that number for Angel Healing House, again, if you'd like to have those books autographed, is 831-277-3716. Now, as we do every week, before we go to any of the cards oracle cards or tarot cards, let's look at the astrological aspects and their energies which are affecting all of us. A few days ago, on October 20th, we experienced a full moon in the fiery sign of Aries. Now, like every full moon, this one might have made us and still be making us feel a little bit more emotional and off kilter. So do take some extra time to be kind and gentle to yourself and do lots of self-care. Self-care is not selfish. With Aries being the first sign of the zodiac, it rules the first chakra and those things that ground us into the earth, to our families, to our ancestral lines. Now, this is a time of intense clearing and healing those karmically inherited ancestral and generational lines, and they often show up as our wounds, as our traumas, and as our programmed attachments. And we need to clear those lines in order to clear all fears around our survival. Now, my clients have greatly benefited from their generational and ancestral past life clearing sessions with me because they've finally released sabotaging blocks to experience a peaceful, loving, fulfilling life's journey in this incarnation, and they were no longer encumbered by attachments to old programming that they were not even aware of that they were carrying and perpetuating and replaying. Today, October 23rd, we bid a fond farewell to Libra season. I am particularly enamored of Libra season as my birthday is on October 7th. But the sun, as of today, is entering the lovely sign of Scorpio. Now, the sun in Scorpio plunges us into the inner watery depths to look at those aspects that might still be hidden from us. For many in the past, this could have been bringing up feelings of anger and rage. But because many of us have changed and integrated our energies over the past 2 years, this will be demonstrated by many not through judgment, not through being violent, but in a peaceful, non-combative way, for we know that our greatest power is our ability to remain neutral and to stay in love and peace and forgiveness and compassion, which are the energies that we will create a beautiful fifth dimensional reality for us to live in. Now, for many, it may feel like we are restraining ourselves or holding ourselves back by choosing to be peaceful and non-combative when others are reacting. We may be labeled as guarded to become involved, but this simply is not the case. The scorpion knows that one of its greatest strengths is knowing when to step away from an encounter so that it can live another day. This month, it will be paramount to step away from poisonous people, people whose agenda lowers our frequencies with anything that still represents third dimension, which is steeped in fear and chaos and worry and control and separation and division. And my angelic family, who I am part of, the posse of angels and I, are saying, please do remember to not be poisonous to yourself. It's important to remember that this poison or sting that the scorpion has on its tail, if it's not careful, it can sting itself. So be careful with your words. Be careful how you speak to yourself and the energies that you hold. This is a rapid time of transition to a whole new reality on planet Earth. And the more we perpetuate the thought of moving gracefully and easily into this newly birthed planet of light, then those are the peaceful, loving, joyful energies that we will be injecting into the collective, for we are all one. As the posse of angels and I shared in our previous Angel Healing House radio program on Blog Talk Radio. And in 2 months, just 2 months away, we are 2 months away from entering into our 11th year as my Angel Healing House radio program has been on the air since January of 2012. But as I mentioned on my radio program, we are now independent, sovereign, powerful, multidimensional beings, and we are no longer manipulated and controlled by anything outside of ourselves. The more that each of us takes our power back and we create the realities and the worlds that we wish to experience, everything else will dissipate and there will be no control by anyone or anything else outside of ourselves. With our beloved Mother Earth having been rebirthed into a planet of light, otherwise we wouldn't be seeing the dark revelations and disclosures that are coming forth in the open. We are seeing merely the last remnants of the dark being removed from this beautiful planet. And I have been asked by many clients how they can bolster and raise their energies and not be affected by those dark energies that are being slowly eradicated from planet Earth. Now, firstly, the posse of angels and I wish for everyone to know that all of this does not happen overnight, and that the more light that shines on the planet and the more people stand up for their liberties and their freedoms and their health choices, the more angry and frustrated the dark agenda becomes because they're losing their hold and the light is taking over. And for those who just wanted to snap, magically change overnight, the posse of angels and I are saying that they had to be removed, the dark had to be removed in a painstakingly, agonizing, slow drip-fed manner for more and more people to clearly see the truth, because one can't just have read about it or be told about something. We have to experience it and be affected directly by it in our own realities. One of the best ways that we can keep our energetic frequencies high and bright and light and clear and not be sucked into any third dimensional drama, especially when dealing with others who are not awakened and they're not seeing and comprehending what we clearly can see, is to remain 100% absolutely neutral. We do this by just being the observer and putting all of our focus and attention on creating our own realities through love and compassion, forgiveness, joy, peace, and harmony. And we do this by remaining in higher dimensional frequency, and by doing so, we are alchemizing these lower dimensional frequencies with love. Now, the posse of angels and I wish to share 4 very important words to take note of at this time of transition into becoming light inhabitants living on a planet of light. And these 4 words are serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, and endorphins. When we realize that we have been lied to on this planet in almost every area of our lives, it can cause many to rage, become violent, and very angry. To keep our moods calm, serene, and peaceful, it's very important to increase our serotonin levels. Some suggestions to do this are sun exposure. Remember that vitamin D is one of the most crucial things that we can ingest by either going out in the sun or taking vitamin D to improve our immune systems. Things like meditation, making time for stillness and quiet reflection, walking out in God's extraordinary handiwork of Mother Nature, and just making time to sit amongst the beauties of Mother Nature. One of my favorite things to do is to talk to the trees, They have such sage wisdom, and many people just pass them by. Another thing I love to do is to connect with the Fae or the fairy realm. Another thing, the next word we have next to serotonin, we have is dopamine. Our dopamine levels determine our satisfaction levels, and it's nurtured by giving ourselves credit for what we accomplish. How many times do we beat ourselves up for not doing a good enough job or not even attempting something? We do this by giving ourselves credit. Put your hand in the air and pat yourself on the back for even attempting to do something, completing a task, taking time out for self-care, and actually applauding yourself for making healthy food choices. Healthy choices in the choice of our words, our feelings, and our actions, and making sure that they are of the highest vibrations to increase our frequencies of light within. The third word is our oxytocin levels, which is our love frequencies. Things like hugging, being sweet and kind and generous, patting a pet, holding hands are all ways to increase our love hormones. And the most important love of all is the love that we give to ourselves. Love yourself the way God and the angels love you. And I can tell you, it feels heavenly. The last of our four words is our endorphins. And endorphins, by raising them, increase our pain levels and can be raised through laughter, through exercise, watching comedies. One of my favorite things is eating dark chocolate. And remember, no milk in it and no sugar. Okay, I like a little bit of stevia in my dark chocolate. Now, the posse of angels wish to remind us all that we've been programmed over thousands of years, and especially since the inception of the mind control game of television, to see the world only through the lens of fear. And the more we keep defaulting with our free will, to keep defaulting to see the world through a lens of chaos and fear, then the world that we will be creating is one of fear. To combat this programming and to consciously elevate our light levels, the posse of angels and I wish for you to see the world as already healed. There is nothing that you have to wait for, no solar flash, no date that anybody tells you. It's already happened. The light has already won. See it and create it in your mind's eye, in your heart, and say, I am living on a planet that is already healed, that is already peaceful, that is already united. I'm able to make my own health choices, to enforce my own freedoms, see the collective as being free and liberated. This is our sovereign right as inhabitants on this beloved planet. Now, the posse of angels wish for us to be so very grateful and appreciative that we were chosen to come back and help increase the light for our Mother Earth to become a planet of light once again. And the posse of angels is reminding us that many millions upon millions of souls wish to come back at this great time of transition, but they didn't have your courage. They didn't have your bravery to return to one of the most difficult low-frequency planets in the universe to help her transition into light. But you know what? You did. By staying centered in the now, focusing on deliberately creating our realities through joy, through love, through passion, peace, forgiveness, and compassion, we are doing our part to create a new world. Also, my angelic family is reminding us that because so many of us have come to the realization that we are co-creating with Spirit, we don't need to push or force for anything to happen, as now it will be presented to us with ease and grace in divine timing, because that is the experience in the higher realms. Once we've taken back our powerful sovereign divine natures, we've set ourselves free and can now create whatever reality we choose. The greater sovereignty we hold, the more we will see crumbling and the dismantling and disappearance of things like self-serving politicians and deceitful, corrupt governments. The greater our sovereignty, the more equality there will be on the planet, with no homelessness, no poverty, and food for all. Homelessness and people not having access to food was never about money. It was always about humanity and there not being enough love. As each and every one of us is rising higher and higher in consciousness, it's becoming very apparent that we are all one family, and we'll find more and more ways that we can connect and collaborate to bring humanity back to our planet once again. Each one of us is a powerful, sovereign leader who has arrived on this planet with a very sacred purpose. Remember to stay balanced. Remember to stay a balanced observer as you watch our beloved Mother Earth cleanse herself of these last vestiges of darkness, so that, along with ourselves, her inhabitants of light, we can enter the galactic council of worlds to live in the higher dimensions, to live in peace, prosperity, joy, and unity. For that always was our divine, inherent birthright. So let's go to the cards and see where we're at. The first card, oh, and by the way, if you are enjoying this, I would love a like. I'd love you to subscribe to it. And if you find the messages helpful, I would love you to share this with others, to give them hope, to give them inspiration, to give them direction and clarity for more joy and more self-love, and to invest in their divine, inherent, powerful, sovereign, multidimensional natures. So let's go to the Oracle of Seven Energies. I love these cards. The first card that came out was very telling, and this card is Exposed and Revealed. Now, the posse of angels wish us to know that having gone through the 1010 portal, the October 10th portal, there are many in the collective, conscious collective, who now find ourselves in a higher dimensional frequency as we get used to being in these higher energies. And we are now in a place where we can be the neutral observers. And that's why there'll be revelations of heinous crimes and harrowing, distressing things that will be made public. And we need to only be the neutral observers. There are many in the conscious collective who knew about these dark energies way before the Great Awakening happened in the last 2 years. And even though we've known about it, it's going to be harrowing for us to see as well. We need to allow ourselves to heal from this shame if we're feeling shame. It's a great time for healing, for growth, for evolution, and for finally being free. Through all of this, we will see what was perpetuated underneath our noses, and allowing our freedoms to be taken away. But we need to publicly see this so that it will never be happening to us ever again. And this is a time of exposures and things revealed. So the next card that came out directly stuck to this one was Body and Soul. And this is a card of extreme self-care. When these things get revealed to us, it's a time for us to really take note of how we are dealing with it. Yes, it can cause a lot of anger and a lot of rage. We need to deal with it through great self-care, and in order for us to bear witness to what has happened on this planet. And there is an intentionality here so that we can acknowledge it, One of the things which, when I take clients through their angel healing house sessions with me, is we look at their life from an angel's perspective, and they can see that many of the things that they experienced in their life, they wrote it into the contract of their life. In my book, One True Home Behind the Veil of Forgetfulness, I speak about soul contracts, and through those angel healing house sessions, we can see our lives very clearly. My clients can see their lives very clearly, to see what they wrote into their contracts so that they can acknowledge it. And there's no blame. They acknowledge this person and those events to happen, and so that they can finally thank it, thank the contrast and the lessons it taught them, so that they could bless it and finally release it. This is what we will be going through, the acknowledgement process. And the more that we can become that neutral observer, the greater we'll be able to hold the frequencies of light for our beloved planet. When I went to the next set of cards, and these are absolutely beautiful. Hurrah to you, Sahara Rose, for putting together such a beautiful set of oracle cards and guidebook. I'll show you the back of them. They're just beautiful. Look at the back of that card. Isn't that delicious? Love those energies. But the card that came out for us was Kali. And all the times I've been drawing cards in the last 2 years from this deck, this card of Kali has not come out. And Kali is the goddess of destruction and dissolution. The card Kali has been drawn because it's a time of radical rebirth, and Scorpio is the season of death and rebirth. Important to know. She will destroy all disillusion, and bring us face to face with our darkest shadows, not to cause us anguish, but rather so that we can see it from a place of deep, deep love. Kali comes to us at a time of extreme liberation and freedom, so we can step into this truer form of who we are. And this can only happen, as I said, once we acknowledge it, what has been perpetuated on this planet, so that it will never happen again. Very powerful energies with Kali. So let's go to our tarot cards and get some cards here and see what's coming out. So, knock, knock, knock. If you're interested, I'm using my tarot deck, the Angel Healing House tarot deck, with me on the back. And they're not available yet for public sale, but I'm hoping, fingers crossed, in 2022 to have them available. I have so many people who are interested in this beautiful tarot deck that was created with the angelic language of light energies. So beautiful. Okay, let's see what's going to come out now at this extraordinary time on planet Earth. We are so fortunate to have been chosen to be here to bear witness after hundreds upon hundreds, eons of thousands of years, that this planet is now broken free and is now entering into those years of prosperity and peace and love and light on this planet. Okay, 1, 2, 3. The first card coming out for us is Strength. This is a reminder for us to have the strength and the courage to see what has been perpetuated on this planet, and to once again to become the neutral observer. That theme of being the neutral observer is playing over and over and over in my heart, in my head, and my clients have benefited so much when they can see themselves in the world, but not of it in the third dimension, especially those that have to deal with those that are not seeing what they're seeing and not perceiving what they know to be true. Beautiful energies coming off of that card. Next card is the Seven of Swords. Now, this card is often the card of deception, corruption, deceit. And this is what we'll be doing. We'll be having the strength to see this, to finally see the lies, and especially those people who said that they had our best interests at heart and were pushing certain agendas to make them massive amounts of money and not really care about our safety and our health. So stand strong, whether you call yourself a light worker or whether you're a walk-in like myself, a star seed, or somebody who is just very conscious and enlightened. Hold that light frequency inside of you. Next card that's coming out is the Justice card. This is the card, look at all that light that is coming off of that card. That is the card of truth and justice finally coming back to this planet again. I love this. It's an 11 card. The 111 is coming up on November 1st, which is a card of new beginnings. It's a card of fresh new starts. And that's what is heralding in. Many different planets have gone forward. Pluto, Saturn, Mercury, Jupiter. They're all opening up those avenues for that communication of that truth to now flow freely into us. I'm getting, in order to bolster your strength, many of you would benefit greatly by working with Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael's sword of truth and a shield of protection is going to help enormously. Protect yourself in these times and draw upon your angelic hosts to be very close to you at this time of great revelation. Next card. This is the card of resurrection and rebirth. Look at this card. We have this man here. He's walking out of the dark woods into the light. There's Archangel Gabriel, which is the archangel of communication, blowing his or her horn, and there is the Creator in the clouds, creating that new path of truth, of justice for us to walk on, and the butterflies are transforming that path for us. How beautiful. This is a new phase on planet Earth. And how fortunate are you to be part of all of this? And the final card we have, is the World card. This is Mother Earth being rebirthed. She's holding up the laurel wreath. She's holding up her hands and saying, finally, free at last, free at last. By the grace of God, each one of us is free, sovereign, powerful, multidimensional beings, stepping into our inherent roles of light on a planet that is ascending into a planet of light. Wow, I don't know what I could add to that, but I will grab my Colette Baron Reid. I love this deck. I don't know if you're familiar with it. All those people like myself who are not addicts when it comes to decks, but this one's beautiful. Postcards from Spirit. And the one that flew out when I chose beforehand was this postcard. It has a Cupid on the back, and it says, "You are pure joy." Isn't that beautiful? And it says, "Dear you, now is one of those times when you're being asked to add some distance, to take a step back and do nothing but observe." Hello, how many times have I used those words? Be neutral, be the observer. Don't worry about how long it will take to regroup. Just know it's temporary and actually an opportunity for you to take a break, slow down, and look at how far you've come. Decisions for the highest good are made when you have clarity, which comes from being open to information from both the intellect and your intuition. When you step into the role of observer, it's as if you turn on a switch that allows your soul to be an essential part of the information gathering and the decision-making process. In this way, you can approach things from a more neutral and non-judgmental place. We know you'll make the right choice. Trust us when we say now is not the time to get too close to the fray and to become involved in any lower third dimensional energy. Step back now. You will be glad you did. Love you so much. That comes from the angels. To close out, I love to grab these cards, Making Magic. And let's see what comes out. What do you have planned? Here in the Northern Hemisphere, it is getting colder. I know you're going to laugh at us here on the west coast of the United States because we say it's getting cold here when it dips down way into the 50s. Although I have friends and family on the East Coast, and they're already in the 30s. So lots of people are going pumpkin picking for Halloween, as it's the time of Samhain, which is the pagan festival of Halloween coming up. Having spiced lattes, having, sort of cider, warm cider, all of those nice things. We get to wear our our warmer clothes too. Okay, one more spirit there. Oh no, that's too many. One more. I said one more. I only want 3. Oh, there it comes. Okay. First card that's coming out for us. Well worth the wait. It's our wishes coming true. Rapid achievement of your dreams and wishes. Isn't that wonderful? And all we need to do now is to open up to receive and surrender the how and the when of it happening. This is a time with Jupiter going forward. It's the time of prosperity and abundance and expansion of things in our life. Next one. Oh, they really want it. This is prosperity. Wishes coming true and prosperity. A prosperous business with riches and success. And the last one for us was perseverance. The motivation to keep going despite all odds. Oh, and with Saturn going forward, Saturn is the planet of karma. So think back to all of those things that you've actioned and done, and all of those rewards are coming in now. So as always, everyone, I'm wishing you an absolutely beautiful week. Go out and fashion a beautiful life for yourself. I'm wishing you love and angel blessings as always. If you're interested in any of my books, especially the autographed copies of those books for the fast approaching gift-giving season, you can order them through angelhealinghouse.com. Any of my services, all of the information, my interviews, many interviews, and all of those things are on my website, angelhealinghouse.com. My books can be purchased on Amazon. And do remember to join me on Thursdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Angel Healing House Blog Talk Radio. And I take callers for free mini angel readings, as I have done for the past 10 years. So I'm wishing you so much love. Take care, everyone. Bye.